Well, hello, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest BOFA Sports webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, you see me, Charles, and Patrick should be joining me in a few minutes. He just called me just to let me know that he might be running a little bit late. So, it's all right. And when he's ready to come on, then we'll bring him on. But we're doing this special Boca Sports webcast today to talk about baseball, to talk about Major League Baseball specifically, and the playoffs that are going on. So, uh, during this show, we're going to talk about the division series, the four divisional series that's going on or that are starting on Saturday. And we will go on to the league championship series and ultimately pick our winner of the World Series in all this in this episode. So the divisional series has just concluded with a thrilling third game between the New York Mets and Milwaukee Brewers. And the Mets were shut out for the first 8 innings. And then Pete Alonso came up to the plate and knocked out a 3-run homer. The Mets were able to get another run for insurance, and they won that game 4-2, winning that series 2-1. That was the only competitive series. Well, I guess from the standpoint of the series as a whole, the other three were done after 2 games. You had the Detroit Tigers, pretty surprising in my eyes, going down to Houston and knocking out the Astros, snapping that streak the Astros had of being in at least the American League Championship Series since 2017. So Detroit has been hot. They ended the season on a really high note to get into that last playoff spot in the American League, and they had carried the momentum through, and they go on to face the Cleveland Guardians. In the other American League wild card series, it was the Kansas City Royals sweeping the Baltimore Orioles, going to Baltimore and winning 2 games in a row there by very low scores. I mean, the series, the 2 games were close. I mean, Kansas City won 1-0 in the first game and 2-1 in the second game. So very good pitching. If you're the Orioles, you have to figure out what's going on in the playoffs. They can't win anything in the playoffs. They were swept in the it was the American League Divisional Series against the Texas Rangers, with the Rangers being on the way to winning the World Championship last year. And this year, not a win. No wins in the wild card series. So Baltimore's got to figure that out. But they are gone, and Kansas City is moving on. They will face the New York Yankees in the divisional series round. Over in the National League, you have the San Diego Padres, and they won 2-0 over the Atlanta Braves. And the Padres will see a familiar foe in the divisional series in the form of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Padres, I guess this is a rematch from a couple of years ago when the two teams met in the last or in this same round a couple of years ago, and the Padres won in 4 games. Got them out of there, or maybe they swept them. I'm not for sure, but I know they won the series. They went on to the championship series that year, getting knocked out by the Philadelphia Phillies. And speaking of the Phillies, they will be playing the New York Mets. As we discussed earlier, the Mets are going on after winning that thrilling game last night in Milwaukee to knock the Brewers out. So you have teams who won the wild card series. They're playing very good baseball, and the winners of the wild card series these last few years have been very, very difficult to deal with. And throughout when this round did actually start going to 3 games, besides the 1-game playoff that was happening for so long, These teams have been able to get on a little bit of a run, continue to play well if they were on that heater coming in, and they are dangerous, very dangerous teams. If you go back the last couple of years, I think the Phillies, they were a wild card team, and they were able to go all the way to the World Series before losing to the Houston Astros. Last year, the Texas Rangers, same thing. Started off in the wild card round, went down to Tampa, swept the Tampa Bay Rays in that series, and then they defeated the Orioles in the divisional series, won in 7 games against the Astros, winning all 4 of the games played in Houston. And then they took out the Arizona Diamondbacks to win the World Series in 5 games. So these wild card teams is very dangerous, and it's proving if you get hot at the right time, if you're able to catch some lightning in a bottle, it may serve you well going forward. So let's see. Still waiting for Patrick, so we'll go ahead and hopefully he joins us in the next few minutes. But we'll go ahead and get started. I'll throw my predictions out there. And then whatever he misses, then we'll make sure we go back and get his predictions for it. So let's start with that series between the Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians. Obviously, these are division foes from the American League Central. Cleveland was pretty solid throughout the year. And I mean, I guess when you look at all the teams throughout, there wasn't anybody who was just overpowering. We didn't have 3 teams or a couple of teams that had 100 victories. Everybody was kind of bunched in there together in terms of which teams pulled off and which teams faded back. But looking at this series, I mean, Cleveland is really, really good. They have really good pitching, and they've been able to get some timely hitting. Their offense has shown a little bit more punch this year than they have in previous years. And the Tigers, as we mentioned, they're really, really hot. Looks like we have Patrick here, so let me see if I can out. Well, hello, Patrick.
I made it. You get no background today, and that's all you get.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. I mean, it's kind of an emergency show anyway. Well, not an emergency show, but I was like, man, if we were both going to do our picks, we might as well go ahead and make it a special. So
yeah, might as well. It is baseball.
So I didn't get into anything really. I was just doing a quick review of the wild card series that had happened, and I just started talking about the first series for between the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Guardians. And I think the Tigers are just playing well. They're hot. Very good pitching. A little bit, I guess, unorthodox with the way the pitching is kind of being used, but it's effective.
It's working.
Yeah, it is effective. And I think they're one of those teams, like I was talking about with the teams who have won the wild card or won in the wild card to start off the playoffs and have made long runs throughout the playoffs. I mentioned the Phillies from a couple of years ago going all the way to the World Series. And of course, the Texas Rangers were a wild card team and they won the World Series last year. So these teams in the World Series or in the wild card rounds are very dangerous. And I think the Tigers are one of those teams, Patrick. I got them winning the series in 4. I think they beat the Guardians.
Ooh, I got the Guardians in 6.
It's a 5-game series per divisional round.
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that. It's going to take them 5 then. I got the Guardians in 5 then.
All right.
And the reason why is because as good as Detroit is, and they're hot, but Cleveland is a sneaky good team. They're a sneaky good team, and I don't think anybody saw them doing what they did this year, winning their division. Nobody saw that. I didn't pick them to win it. I did have it. Huh?
I think we both have the Twins.
Yeah, we both had the Twins taking it. So they're a sneaky good team, but this is what I love about the Guardians right here. They're balanced. They're balanced on their pitching. Their starters give them most of the time. Their starters give them about a good 6, maybe 7 innings, and then their relief comes in, and there's no drop off on their relief pitching, and that lineup produces runs. I mean, they don't hit for a ton. They don't hit a lot of home runs, but man, they hit gappers. I like the Guardians, man. I'll take the Guardians at 5.
All right, so you got Cleveland in 5. I got Detroit in 4. So, all right, here we go. Let's get some disagreeing going. The next series over in the American League, or the other series, is the New York Yankees. They will be meeting the Kansas City Royals in this one. And Kansas City, much like Detroit, was a team that kind of came out of nowhere. Wasn't a lot that was expected out of this team, or at least for this year. Of course, we know they have Bobby Witt Jr. They still have Salvador Perez as well. So there's some building blocks for them to do something in the future. But for them to make the playoffs and be successful in the playoffs by taking out the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore, I don't know if too many people had that. So, but here they are, about to play the Yankees. I mean, I want to pick the Royals. I mean, you know us, we not really too big of fans of the Yankees. I just don't know if they have enough hitting to beat the Yankees in this series. And the Yankees pitching is good enough to get them by this series. So I'm going to have the Yankees in 4.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Not only do the Royals not have enough hitting, they've actually matched the Yankees very well with it when it comes to hitting. But here's the problem: all their pitching is on the injured list. So I mean, and everybody's talking like, oh man, the Royals, how can they lose? They got Will Smith. Yeah. That streak's about to end, bro. Just letting y'all know. I mean, I think Will Smith is back tomorrow. I think he's due back tomorrow. I don't know if he goes, but he is back tomorrow. I'm gonna go Yankees, but I unfortunately I just don't think the Royals have anything. I think it's Yankees in 3.
I think it's a sweep.
I think it's a sweep.
Yeah, and I can see a sweep too. I just the Royals. I
want them to. I want them to.
Yeah, yeah.
I want them to. I don't like those pinstripes. I don't. But it's just Yankees are playing really well as well, and like you said, they got just enough pitching. And with a team that has just enough pitching to a team that has no pitching right now, all because of the injured list. It's hard to go with the Royals, man.
Yeah, and the offense, it doesn't have enough punch, man. Yeah. I mean, besides Witt and Perez, struggle to score. And you will have to score at least, I think, about 4 or 5 runs if you are going to beat the Yankees. I don't know if they can get that.
Or more.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm with you, man. Yankees, I got them in 4. You got them in 3. Let's slide on over to the National League. And we'll start with, you got division battles in both of these series. I guess you have one, of course, in the Tigers and Guardians series. But, and by the way, Patrick, that is crazy that the American League Central has 3 of the remaining 4 teams.
Right.
In the American League. This is supposed to be the weaker division out of the 3. I know we had discussed that. And they have 3 of the remaining playoff teams left. That's crazy.
Hey, that's it.
So in the National League, you have the San Diego Padres coming out of the wild card round, defeating the Atlanta Braves. But they will play the Los Angeles Dodgers. This, of course, is interesting for a lot of reasons. You have a lot of star power in there. With San Diego, you have Fernando Tatis Jr., you have Manny Machado, of course, with the Dodgers. You have Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts over there. And the pitching is pretty good for both teams as well. Now, this is a rematch of the series from a couple of years ago when the Padres took them out in the divisional series. And truthfully, I have the same thing happening here. I just don't trust Dave Roberts over there with the Dodgers managing and throwing away the bullpen, putting them in there, making these panic moves. And I think it's just going to continue to mess the Dodgers up until proven otherwise. I have the Padres moving on in, we'll go 4 as well in that one for me.
You gonna pick any other number than 4?
No, I haven't seen it yet. They make this last series, I will. Maybe that might be like the gentleman's sweep.
Hey, at least you're giving the other team one game, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree with you. These teams are very evenly matched, top to bottom, pitching, lineup, everything really. I mean, everything points in LA's direction, but like you said, when it comes to the playoffs, pitching is just not managed right in the Dodgers, and sometimes they escape it, sometimes they don't. It's hard to know what they're gonna do in LA. I'm gonna take San Diego in 4 as well, but it would not surprise me if this goes 5. It wouldn't. I don't think that this will be a sweep by no means. Dodgers are good enough to at least get one game. But it just kind of depends on how that coaching goes. If he decides to coach right, it could go 5 and the Dodgers could win. If he decides to pull in the second inning and start relying on his bullpen, San Diego is going to tee off on that, and San Diego has teed off on that all season. So I got San Diego in 4.
All right, and for the final series, Patrick, you haven't gotten the chance to start off a series with your predictions, so I guess I'll introduce it real quick. It is the New York.
Well, I always go first. I don't want to hear that crap.
Just for football, you do. All right.
Yeah, for football, I always go first.
That's true.
Always.
That's that. All right. That's true.
I don't want to go first. I always go first, but don't feel bad.
Well, with the New York Mets, they are going to Philadelphia Phillies. And this series has, to me, 5 games written all over it. The Mets are playing very scrappy ball. And I know this is surprising to us because we didn't know if the Mets had this type of scrappiness in them. They didn't look like they had this amount of scrappiness in them. It looked like if things got tough, they were going to just fade away and nothing was going to happen. But going back to Monday when Francisco Lindor hit the 9th inning homer against the Braves in Atlanta to get them into the playoffs. And then last night, that game in Milwaukee, they're down 2-0, and then Pete Alonso comes up in the 9th and hits an opposite field 3-run homer. This series,
reaching, by the way.
Yeah. Just went with the pitch. Yeah. And I mean, the Mets right now are playing just with this grit. There's something about this Mets team that says they can go a long way here, man. I'm gonna do it, Patrick. I'm picking the Mets in 5. I think they're gonna beat the Phillies.
And they have all the tools to do it. Unfortunately, I think Philly has all the tools to prevent it.
Philly's good, man. Philly is good. And, the Mets are missing a few. I think the Mets are missing a few key players. Blackburn, he's not in the lineup. He's done for this. He's been done for the season for a while. But when it comes to these type of series, like, let's say the Mets do win. I got Philly. I'm gonna go Philly. I'm gonna go Philly in 5 because if Mets do win, they're gonna have to win it in 4. They're gonna have to win it at home. I don't think a game 5 in Philly is going to be very promising for that New York Mets team. Now, I will say this: if any team is going to beat any team in a game 5 at home,
it will be the Mets. They are that good, and they're scrappy. Let's put it this way. They're not that good. They are that scrappy. With that being said, I think if it does go to a game 5, I think Philly wins. I do have Philly in 5. But there's a few key components that the Mets would need to beat a series like this, and with a couple of those pieces missing for injury, I don't see that they have enough to get past Philly. And let's say they do, I don't see them getting past the Padres. So I'm gonna go Phillies in 5.
All right. Well, with that, man, you know us. We're gonna go all the way to the World Series with our picks here. So, what do you have out of the Padres and Phillies in your bracket? No pun intended.
Padres.
Okay.
I got the Padres. I think this is their season. I do. The Padres are a good team. They're really is pretty scrappy, like the Mets are. A few games they haven't had to prove that because they put it on teams pretty quickly. Their pitching is pretty stellar. I think that they're managed quite well when it comes to pitching and the bullpen. And those lineups are very potent in San Diego. So I got San Diego.
All right. And hey, man, I'm going to ride that hot wave, man. I got the Mets. I'm going Mets. I think the
Mets.
The
New York Series. You got that Subway Series coming in for the World Series?
No.
Yankees aren't that good, are they?
Nah, not that good. Not that good, man. So, yeah, I got I'm going hot streak, just spoiler alert. So I got the Mets beating the Padres. I'll go. So of course the championship series, for those who don't.
Oh, that's the best of 7. My fault. Padres in 6.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go Mets in. They're playing pretty good. I'm gonna go Mets in 6. I think the Mets will get it done in 6. They will be the National League representative there. I just like what they're seeing. I just like what I'm seeing from them. Just the timely hitting. They're getting good pitching, or at least timely pitching. I mean, they had some pretty good pitching last night. A little scrappy. The thing with the Mets is their bullpen could be, that's the one worry that they have. The starting has been all right, but bullpen is either going to be very, very good or very, very bad. In the American League, who do you have coming out of there? And I guess your American League championship series will be the Yankees and Guardians. Who do you have winning in that one?
Guardians.
Ooh.
I have the Guardians representing the AL this year. I just like what they're playing as. I do. I like I said, I didn't see them winning their division by no means, but man, you come out playing the way they've been playing, especially after All-Star break. They're a good team, man. They're a good team. So yeah, San Diego Guardians in 6. I got Guardians in 6.
I got the Tigers in 6, man. I think they're gonna beat the Yankees. Because I think the Tigers, where the Royals cannot capitalize, I think the Tigers can. Like the Royals just have a tough time scoring. The Tigers, not as much. And the thing with the Tigers is the style of play, Patrick, is what you would actually look for. And I'm not saying you as you specifically, but I guess if you're looking at it from the big picture standpoint of what wins in October, they play good defense, they got good pitching, and they can manufacture runs.
Yep.
That's the thing with the Tigers. They can find a way, whether it's getting a double at the right time, like when they got the 3-run triple against the Astros to knock them out. You get singles, you can steal bases, you can get sacrifice punts and sacrifice flies. The Tigers can do those things, and those 1 or 2 extra runs, I think, would be the difference, because I think they're pitching. The Yankees are still your classic home run strikeout lineup.
Yep.
So Detroit can get that pitching. I think the Royals could get that pitching too, but that's the difference between the Royals and the Tigers for me. The Tigers can manufacture runs a little bit better at this point, and I think they'll have enough to take the Yankees out in 6. So your World Series is the Guardians and Padres. You got that one. Who do you got winning that?
Well, that one I went back and forth on. As much as I like the Guardians, as much as I want to see, and you know, Cleveland, they're wanting something up there. They want something up there other than that crap they did with LeBron, whatever. I want the Guardians to win, but I think San Diego takes it in 7. This will probably be one of the most thrilling extra innings baseball you are going to have in 7 games. This would be one of the best World Series I think I've seen in a long time. This is kind of what I'm hoping for. But I'm going to go San Diego in 7.
So I got the Tigers and the Mets. God, that's an unconventional World Series, ain't it? But that's what I got.
It's pretty weird World Series.
Yeah, I mean, so my picks, I can tell you, I was looking at who's starting to peak now. Who is getting everything to come together at that right time. Now, of course, it's a season-to-season thing. Those trends can break at any time. And sometimes it could be just simply the best team is going to be there. It hasn't been the trend lately. And I think these two teams, the Tigers and the Mets, they're those teams that are just starting to just come together right at the time that they need to. And I guess in the meeting with them, I'm gonna have the Mets. I got the Mets.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the Mets. I think the Mets will win in 7 games. I know, head scratcher. I'm scratching my head too when I was thinking.
Yeah,
but I
never thought I would hear the Mets win a World Series in my lifetime.
I mean, I guess have the Mets. Yeah, they got to the World Series in 2015. Yeah, 2015 they got to the World Series. They got beat by the Royals though. But yeah, I got the Mets winning this World Series, man. I just think just the grit, this toughness, this newfound toughness, really. Or okay, I won't say newfound. I think it probably started in the second half of the season at some point where they just got on a nice little roll and the pitching started to come together. And when you have dudes like Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor in the lineup, you got that power. Yeah, you got that power that can get with most other teams. So that is crazy. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it myself. But yeah, Patrick, I got the Mets winning the World Series in 7 games too, in a thrilling series over the Detroit Tigers.
Interesting. Unfortunately, the Mets are as good as they're playing. They're still in show me mode because they haven't showed me anything in years. So, I mean, look, I respect the pick. I really do because, you know, like you said, second half, they have been a gritty, grind out wins team. I mean, you know, they were several games behind Atlanta in second place and come back to tie them. I mean, Atlanta didn't have that much. Atlanta did not have a great second half of the year, but they found ways to get a few wins here and there, but it was never enough because New York was coming with a lot more, better pitching, better outfielding, better batting, and just overall really kind of better managed team. So you gotta tip your hat to the Mets and the way they've been playing, especially in that second half of this year. So I mean, I like it. I like the pick. I mean, I like to see the Mets, but just never thought I'd hear them win a World Series. Here we go. Here we are. Let's see how it goes. It'll give New York something to smile about other than the Yankees.
All right. Oh man, yeah. And I mean, you got the Guardians winning, so I mean, it's not.
No, I got the Padres winning.
Did you pick the Padres? Oh, I thought you picked the Guardians.
Padres in 7.
That's right. My bad. Well, I mean, I guess so. I guess San Diego might have kind of got humbled a little bit. You know, they got all these people, and it didn't work out. As a matter of fact, it was a kind of a crash and burn scenario, unfortunately for them, because the guys just didn't. And they had Juan Soto there, and just things didn't pan out for them. And now it looked like they started to get some things together. Things have gotten a little bit more settled down, and they're just playing baseball. And sometimes that's just all you need to do. Just play baseball.
Most of the time, that's all you need to do. Play baseball. And you look, you play baseball, you win some games, you'll see where you're at the end of the year. And that's all San Diego has been doing. They've just been playing baseball, winning some games. Where are we at the end of the year? They ended up where they were at. And you're like, okay, let's build from there. Let's see what we got. So, no, I mean, I think San Diego, I just think that this is their year. I think that they hit it and they hoist a trophy at the end of the year.
Now, real quick, before we hop off here, what we mean when we say just playing baseball, because somebody might be watching the show, it's like, what do you mean just playing baseball? Of course they're playing baseball, Charles and Patrick. What are you talking about? Well, what we mean is, especially in the case of the Padres, it's a lot of hype that came around them, and they were probably believing their own hype. And when things weren't going well for them, then there was a lot of excuse making. There's a lot of crying. There's a lot of whining and stuff that's coming on. And since we're talking about baseball in this case, whining about balls and strikes, or whining about some call that didn't go their way. They're not worrying about that right now. Now they're just playing baseball. They're just doing their thing and not worrying about all the outside stuff, worried about it, whatever call is made. They're just...
Here's a good way to put it. If the ball is low and outside, they don't draw a line at the umpire. They step out, they shake their head, they step back in, they get ready for the next pitch. There's no whining about, oh, that was a little outside, or they'll make hand gestures like that was too low. They just shake their head, get back in, and get ready to hit. And 9 times out of 10, they jack one into the seats or put one into
the gap.
A gap, or a play happens and there's an error. Something happens and it's just the Padres aren't worried about everything else. They're just worried about themselves playing baseball. And here's the next one. I also got to add this. They're having fun. When you have a team that just plays baseball and has fun, they're hard to beat because you can't get in their head. You can't take away their psyche. They strike out, they come back out the next at bat, and they hit the ball. It's a hard team to beat when you're just playing baseball. They're hard enough to beat when you're just playing baseball. But when they're having fun, these Padres are having fun. They're smiling while they're playing. They're joking around with the other team. They're joking around with their own team. It's hard enough to beat a baseball team when they're playing baseball. It's even harder to play them or beat them when they're just playing baseball. And then it's even harder to beat them when they're having fun just playing baseball. It's for me, the San Diego Padres is just a team that is just playing baseball, and they're having fun doing it. And there's no whining when they lose. There's no huge celebrations when they win. Home runs, they gather at home plate, and then they go to the dinner. They're done. They're ready to go. I like them, man.
All right. Well, hey, well said, Patrick. And with that will conclude this special edition of the BOFA Sports webcast. So y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. Also, as y'all know, we are on the podcast forums too. So wherever you listen to your podcast, go ahead and check us out. And it's under BOFA Sports as well. So with that concludes. And we will be back on Tuesday. back at our normal time of Tuesday evening at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Until then, everybody enjoy the games, enjoy the football that's coming up, and enjoy these divisional series games that are getting started up on Saturday as well. And also, have a great weekend.